Let us start. So, respected Dr. Preeti D'Souza, Sri Brian Fernandez, Chairman, ISTD Mangalore Chapter, Chapter Chairpersons, NC members, ISTD members, well-wishers, and students from ISTD student chapters, a very good evening to you all. On behalf of Indian Society for Training and Development, Southern Region, I warmly welcome each one of you to the 6th edition of the ISTD South webinar series. Today, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Preeti Kirti D'Souza, Chairperson of the Department of Postgraduate Studies and Research in Commerce, Mangalore University, who will lead us on the fascinating theme, learning, unlearning, and relearning. Friends, the pace of change in today's world is breathtaking. Alvin Toffler, the future is once said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. His words have never been more relevant than they are today. Think of some real world scenarios. Kodak once ruled the world of photography, but its inability to unlearn the film-based model and relearn digital transformation cost it its existence. On the other hand, Netflix started as a DVD rental company, but when it sensed the winds of change, it unlearned its original business model and reinvented itself as a streaming giant. Even in our personal lives, we witnessed this during the pandemic. Teachers who were so used to chalk and board classrooms had to unlearn traditional ways and quickly relearn online teaching methods. Many of us had to relearn how to collaborate, work remotely, and yet remain productive. Learning is about acquiring knowledge and skills. Unlearning is about letting go of outdated habits and mindsets. Relearning is about adopting new perspectives that make us relevant and resilient. This cycle is not just for professionals, but for every individual navigating through the uncertainties of the modern world. Today's session will give us valuable insights into this continuous cycle of growth. And we could not have asked for a more accomplished guide than Dr. Preeti Kirti D'Souza, whose academic leadership and research experience have inspired many learners across disciplines. I formally welcome Dr. Preeti Kirti D'Souza to this webinar. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
We have with us Mr. Brian Fernandez, Chairman ISTD Mangalore Udupi Chapter, a very vibrant leader who keep Mangalore Udupi chapter as one of the most vibrant chapters of ISTD nationally. And he is going to moderate the session today. I extend a cordial welcome to Mr. Brian Fernandez. Welcome, sir. We have many senior ISTD members, chapter chairpersons with us, like Talha sir is there, Anthony sir is there, Girish sir is there, like many people are there. So I take this opportunity to welcome the entire ISTD fraternity to this this webinar, 6th edition of the South webinar series. So without taking much time, I request Brian sir to introduce Preeti ma'am formally and moderate the session. Sir, please.
Thank you. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. A very warm welcome from the Mangalore chapter, Mangalore Udupi chapter of the ISTD to all the participants. I understand they are from across India, both ISTD members and non-ISTD members. Welcome to each and every one of you. Mangalore Udupi chapter has got 151 members and it's become quite vibrant, quite active in its approach to learning and development, and the members too are very participative. So it's a pleasure for us to actually provide our knowledge to the rest of the country. Saying that today's topic is learning, unlearning, and relearning. Learning is the foundation of growth, acquiring new knowledge, skills, and attitudes. It keeps us updated and keeps us relevant, and also keeps us fit for constant change. For instance, if you go to the classroom today, you're moving from chalkboards to smart boards. I'm sure some of you have used smart boards when you are teaching or training. Unlearning is much harder than learning. It requires letting go of old habits, mindsets, and comfort zones. It clears the way for outdated knowledge that blocks new ideas. So, unlearning the belief that seniority equals expertise, that's a belief that most of us have. And in fact, it pervades our Indian society like anything. But it's a mindset. So, expertise can be found even in a 21-year-old who has made a startup. In fact, recently you might have heard that Operation Sindoor's success is partially due to a startup done by two youngsters. So we cannot we need to remove that mindset. On relearning, so updating existing knowledge in light of new realities, it ensures adaptability, resilience, and relevance. We all have relearned communication through digital systems. Earlier, they were not there. We used to, stand in the line at the PCO to make a trunk call. But now you have handheld devices. In fact, today I was working on my laptop for the Zoom and it had some issues, so I switched to the phone. It's so easy nowadays. So the big picture is learning keeps you informed, unlearning keeps you flexible, and relearning keeps you future ready. And Alvin Toffler, that famous author, he says the illiterate of the 21st century, that's this century, will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, so with that, we will get into the dive straight into the topic with Dr. Preeti, but I must tell you a little bit about Dr. Preeti. Dr. Preeti Kirti D'Souza, that's the full name. Dr. Preeti Kirti D'Souza is the chairperson of the Department of PG Studies and Research in Commerce at the Mangalore University, with over 2 decades of teaching and research experience. She is a gold medalist in both MCOM and MBA with a PhD in talent management. She has presented 200 papers, published 70 articles, and won 17 Best Paper Awards globally. She's an acclaimed trainer. In fact, I've trained with her and I can vouch for that. And an international speaker. She has conducted 400 plus workshops, guided research, authored books, and earned prestigious awards across India, Africa, and Asia. Now, with this small introduction, I hand over the session to Dr. Preeti.
Thank you, Sir Brian. Thank you for those remarks. First of all, I would like to say thanks to each one of you for giving your time here. And let us get back into the purpose for which we are all here. I'm sharing the screen. The screen is visible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. A warm welcome once again to the entire team, the ISTD fraternity who is here involved in the concept of learning. I got a call from Zakaria, sir, and why not we move on to a very interesting topic? Well, a topic that came just to my mind at that time without any thought was these three words. As I say, warm welcome to each one of you from Manglo Udpi chapter, which is in Karnataka. I move on with this statement that let us have an involvement today, and with involvement, we move towards the session. a little interactive that we can make it. Well, it is August 29th. If anyone can tell me what is so special about August 29th. Anybody? I know it's a Friday. What is so special of August 29th? Anyone? Well, I'll show you a picture now. Can you recognize this person? Yes, you do. I can see all those smiles. Very nice. It is Michael Jackson's birthday, but that is okay. But who is this person? We are into the
So
mood.
it's today's. I'm Harish from.
Yes,
I am
Harish,
the
sir.
treasurer of Bank. I am Bangalore chapter treasurer.
Yes, sir.
And today, if I'm not wrong, it's International Sports Day, and the photo you are showing is of Major Dhyan Chand.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. A big round of applause. Very nice. Major Dhyan Chand, and you are perfectly right. It is a National Sports Day. India has a sports day. Very interesting. Everything, we are moving on to the concept of learning, and maybe few of them got it today to know, wow, it's a National Sports Day celebrating the birthday of Major Dhyan Chand. And in which sports it is, if anybody can tell me?
Hockey, obviously.
Perfectly right, Brian, sir. Perfectly right. I
No,
now
Harish.
have something. Yeah.
It's somebody else, not me.
No,
Okay,
Harish,
okay,
Harish
okay.
answered.
Harish, sir, Harish. Okay. If I can put a question, which is a national sport of India?
Hockey is the national sport.
Okay, there is a reply that has come. Hockey is a national sport of India. But surprising, even I was thinking it is the national sport of India, did some research, and then we come to know the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports has declared that no sport has been officially declared as a national sport of India. Hockey is extremely loved, cricket is loved, kabaddi is loved. There are so many things, and the government encourages many popular sports. And this is again a concept of learning, unlearning, relearning. We are having today National Sports Day of India. Well, this brings to the purpose as to why we are here. ISTD, a platform that brings us all together. Before I continue with those three words, learning, unlearning, relearning, I profusely thank Professor Dr. Zakaria, the Regional Vice President of ISTD South Region, for giving your time as well as for the communication that you have done, sir. Extremely grateful. I also thank Mr. Brian Fernandez, whom we have known one another from quite many years, and he is heading our ISTD Mangalore P chapter, extremely vibrant, has wonderful ideas. Thank you, sir, and I thank you for moderating the session. As well as I thank each one of you for giving your time here into this process. And as said, three words, let's know them better. When we are speaking about learn, unlearn, and relearn, it is the vibe that is being created. I'll be having some questions for you. Could anybody recognize what is this?
First tower.
Yes, Thalasa, you're right. It is an Eiffel Tower. You have learnt it for long, and we move on to the first word, learning. Learning is a relatively permanent change in our behavior, in our thinking, in our thought process, which goes into the unwinding stage and it gives us outcomes. So this is learning relatively permanent. This was seen long time back. You remember this when you see the photo. This is what we learned, how we put all the alphabet together. This is what we learned, the numbers and all those things, which is there permanently, relatively permanent with us. And hence, when we speak about learning, as said, human behavior is seen and it is a result of experience. Now, if I ask you, could anybody tell me the significance of August 29th? I'm sure this question is easy now for everyone. Everybody would say It's National Sports Day of India. Learning has taken place. Learning gives us that vibe, and this vibe is what we shall share always. When I speak about learning, when are we moving into the concept of purposeful learning? You do it intentionally and you get an experience out of it. It's a very, very active process, and many things are involved in the concept of learning. The styles are basically 3 to 4 or more as and when the things change. You learn with visuals, that is, you see, you hear, and you learn. The entire body is involved in learning styles. The brain is there, and obviously there is feelings, seeing, hearing, thinking. Everything comes in the learning styles. When we speak about learning styles, it goes ahead with intelligences. Intelligences are many. I'm not moving on to that area, but we understand when a person is outside the comfort zone, learning takes place much better. Either purposeful or it could be accident. So there are various styles of learning, from social, when you interact, logical, numbers that I said, oral, the musical way, visual, where you see, verbal, words, solitary, when you are person to yourself, you speak to yourself, always the physical one also, kinetics is always there. These are the different styles of learning, and this learning would move on to various types of learning. Everyone knows learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior due to experience. All those various styles, the intelligences, all this would add into the types of learning. From the cognitive, involved with the mind, to the behavioral, that is the body kinetics, social, when people meet one another, some experiential learning definitely takes place, constructivist, when experience and ideas collaborate, situational, when there are certain situations which are coming in, or maybe purposefully you learn, which we are doing today, self-directed learning. When we are speaking about all these things, I'll give you a small situation and let's see whether there is a connect between learning and as well as behavior. A very big tree is fallen on the middle of the road. Let us see what happens. Here we go.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर आइए सर चल चल
I hate this country.
तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले। लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे, हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाला करे। ओ लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे, हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाला करे। उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो अकड़ के चलो, उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो, फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो, फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो। तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, हिंदुस्तान चले। चलो
A situation is there, behavior is exhibited, learning takes place, and this is what we meant by a situational learning. There are many things to analyze. We are having a little time, and let me make use of that time. Discussions, questions, I will definitely take. If still you have doubts, I'm open for queries always. Well, this is what we had in the learning process. The latest one with learning, E added to everything, e-learning. And thanks to this e-learning, we now have our conversations, and that is definitely a add-on. I have another question. What is this?
Eiffel Tower.
Again, an Eiffel Tower. Learning was done. Now we are moving on to unlearning. Is it an Eiffel Tower? Is it an Eiffel Tower?
I think it's the scissors.
It's a Caesar. Okay. And that is the difference between learning and unlearning. Having a different view, maybe a broader view, a elaborated view for the changes that we see constantly. This is what we meant by learning, and we move on to the next stage of unlearning. Unlearning is very difficult. Maybe you have learned how to put on certain things, and maybe you're going and buying a new mobile. You're very addicted to your earlier setting, and when the new one comes, the first 3 days is a definite irritation. Unlearning is tough because the volume button, which was on the right side, is now on the left side. Certain things would always change, and you are getting adjusted to some other concept would take time, patience, and willingness to unlearn and then relearn. A person here, a smaller view, we are moving on to the bigger picture. There are various things that we can describe in the process of unlearning. The first problem of all, men and women, is not to learn, but to unlearn. But half of the wisdom is learning what to unlearn. Over a period of time, so many years, so much of information that has come, and the juncture we had COVID and the new changes that have come, unlearning has become a part. I asked the question, which is a national sport of India. There was a learning, it was hockey. Now there is an unlearning, it is not hockey. It's an unlearning. Understanding unlearning. How do you let off your old ideas? How do you get out of that information which you have taken and kept it with you for long? What are the ways of doing things which you are doing from long are no longer existing is unlearning. And transformation is often more about unlearning than learning. This is what we need to learn, all educators. Can I empty my cup? It has been filled with everywhere information available for free. But how do I unlearn is, can I take my time and effort to say, maybe there is another better way. And I unlearn and I go further. And the power of unlearning is where we shall always grow and go ahead. Unlearning is vital, difficult, but really needed. Now, learning to unlearn is a skill, and then relearning is another quality. I move on from unlearning to relearning. We started with learning. What is the importance of the day? We came to know it's National Sports Day. Unlearning that hockey is not our national sports. Relearning that no sport is being kept as a national sport of India. Very simple. I'm going to stick on because we'll use very simple aspects. Measuring relearning. How are you going to have the information that is there with you? Maybe there is something which is there in our memory. How do I bring it back? That is also a relearning. There are so many informations that have been read, viewed, understood, and maybe debated on. But how do you bring it back when it is needed? Relearning. I told you this is what we have relearned, that no sport is being officially declared as a national sport of India. Very simple process. of today's importance been split into learning, unlearning, relearning. Go ahead of that. Next question, why sports? National Sports Day, why sports? Anybody and everybody knows, need to be physically fit. We are having a mantra of Fit India. We are having a mantra of, come on, health is vital. If the health is there, everything is there. We need to give our importance to it. And when we speak about sports, it is a discipline by itself. It promotes social skills, physical fitness, obedience, resourcefulness, teamwork, stress tolerance. Everything comes from sports and it is vital. Definitely, we understand it is needed for human body when it is Fit India exercise. Very vital. We are moving on and understanding a best form of exercise, and that is walking. We are moving on to the learning area of walking. This was something that I read today, and I thought maybe it's a nice, worth sharing concept. And what is it? There are types of walking. Morning walk. Morning walk, people who walk before the doctor tells them. Then there is a warning walk, people who walk after the doctor warns them. There's a darling walk, people who walk because their husbands or wives tell them to do so. There's a burning walk, people who walk because they feel jealous of other people's fitness. Wo kar raha hai, main kyun nahi? And then there is a turning walk, people who walk with their wife but keep turning on to look at their other people around. So this is something that I thought wouldn't be a small share to understand the types, learning on a different note. But if you don't have learn, unlearn, and relearn, then life would be very difficult and demands are not being met. Adaptation is vital. And how are you open to learn, unlearn, relearn is the entire mantra. Let's go further. We move ahead from the day's importance to a very abstract thing that I've put here. Anyone can give any views that comes into your mind when you see this. Anybody. It would be nice. I have my fellow ISTDians from Mangalore P chapter as well as other people. We meet not very often, but it's nice platform for you to at least share what you feel. Need not be right or wrong, nothing like that.
Good evening, ma'am. Organized
ma'am.
and unorganized.
Wonderful. So this is one organized way and this is completely unorganized. Jai Shri ma'am, thank you. Anybody
Thank
else?
you,
Yeah, thank you. Let's be participative.
Direction, no
Ma'am, the
direction.
first one,
Yes, Harish sir.
Direction, no direction.
Or this is direction, that is no direction, but somewhere the arrow is there. Okay, mixed direction, no direction. Okay, great. Which one
the
would you
first
love?
one,
Yes, Girish sir.
the first one is an ideal condition. The second one is when you impose the variables or the truth, the real reality of life.
Oh, superb. Girish sir, bingo. Very nice. Okay. So this is what he has given us. A right answer. This is what is the expectation, and the one is the reality of life. I would completely agree. And what a nice audience we have who understands the thinking is on one pattern, but the reality is completely different. We have certain ups and downs when we move ahead with life. We have a plan. अरे मैं ऐसा start करूंगी, वहां पर जाऊंगी. This is how I start. This is how I go. But in reality, you are having so many checks and balances. And this is where we are having the concept of learning and unlearning, relearning being implemented as we go ahead with the aspect of life. I gave you today's the date. It was 29th, but it is Friday. If it was 13th the Friday, we are moving on to learning, unlearning, relearning. If it is 13th Friday, we have a very interesting trend to consider 13 as unlucky. We do not know why, but it is a learning that we have gone over a period of time. Have you heard about it? 13 is unlucky. And if it is 13 mixed with the Friday the 13th, come on. So many things come up in life. There are beliefs, there are certain conditions which are being put. We do not know why. There is learning. How practical it is, we do not. Friday the 13th, when it comes, they say, don't walk under the ladders. I don't know whether you've heard it, but in some cultures it is there, even outside India. Don't break any mirrors on the 13th Friday. Bad luck. Don't spill any salt. Don't open an umbrella. Come on, if it is raining such badly, Friday the 13th, don't open an umbrella indoors, but it is. Don't pick up a penny facing down. It may bring you bad luck. Don't walk by any black cat. Poor thing, God knows what the cat has done. But there are beliefs. Interestingly, the belief of 13th has a major impact on the stock market performance as well. If Friday and 13 comes together, there is a complete volatility. Businesses come down, and there are so many things that we see. If this is a picture of a lift in one of the country, they don't have number 13. See there, after 9, 10, 11, 12, it is 12A and then 14. Such is the belief which has been put into practice. Learning, unlearning. But we are moving on to the learning and how it is called. 13th, the Friday, it is called as Frigatrisca decaphobia. Frigatrisca decaphobia. It's a very interesting word. It has its own word. And what does this 13-letter word say? It is an irrational fear of Friday the 13th. Frigatrisca decaphobia. And what is it? Frega is Friday, Triskai is 3, Deca is 10, phobia is fear. Fear of 13. When behavior, fear is there, how the behavior is influenced. We need to understand this in the pattern of learning. I have a small video where there are 3 piglets and there is a wolf which is attacking that piglets. It's Christmas season here, another 100 plus days to go. But let us understand the rationality between phobia and behavior. 3 pigs and a wolf chasing those 3 pigs. Here we go. You understand this? So many things to share, but they thought they killed the wolf, but in reality, whom did they kill? They killed the Santa Claus.
Santa. Yeah.
Yes, killed. Yes, they killed the Santa. It always happens. Learning when it is there, with the fear of the things that may happen, unknown, certain things of the past, certain things of the future, we have a different behavior that we exhibit. And very interestingly, more you fear something, that is likely to happen. This has to be understood and unlearn and go ahead with the relearning process. This is a learning pyramid. How do you keep the knowledge with you? If it is pure lecture, only 5% stays. But if it is where you practice 75%, going further, when you teach, when you are going into and making other people understand, you learn 90%. So you are into ISTD, into the aspect of being an no, towards the oratory or academician style, or maybe knowledge sharing. This helps to give a retention rate which is nearly 90%. Bloom's taxonomy, everyone has heard about it, where you are moving on from the ladder from only remembering to apply to analyze to create. This would always help. Now I'm just inversing the learning pyramid and the Bloom's taxonomy. This is where we bridge the gap between learning and unlearning. If you are moving on and understanding what is the learning pyramid, what is the Bloom's taxonomy, try to know which is a better way of you making people understand, and then try to see how best you can be part of the learning. This is what we really want, getting a little motivated and constantly learn for a lifetime. When we take charge of our life, this is a fellow who has one leg and he says, I want to swim. That confidence level of going ahead with life, what was the expectation, what is the reality, he still wants to go and explore. I now show you a small video where a person without hands is a swimmer without hands. Let's see how he performs.
Well, it's the big race for the GB swimmers in the extended competition. And he's ready for his second chance. But Richie Barber is now under pressure. Silver medalist in Sydney, silver medalist at the World Championships. He's 74.82 to qualify for the GB team for Athens. But look at this man, in number 5, technical world record last night. His world record stands at 32.59. He can say that is Richie 5.
He came first. If you can little observe, when he is going ahead, other people who are behind are taking time to give that hand stroke. They're taking time to give that hand stroke. This person has one hand, time is saved. And that gives us to a statement, if you cannot fly, run. Cannot run, walk. Cannot walk, crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. A learning that we have. This may be our plan. This is the reality. But you keeping moving forward is something that is very vital in the concept of learning, unlearning, relearning, or maybe the concept of life itself. When we are understanding this, sometimes we are having a concept of overconfidence. It is there in most of us as and when we age, or maybe in youngsters. I know it. I have done it. Things are okay. This is what I know. What's the big deal? But this is where we will be cutting the branch on which we are relying. This leads to overconfidence. I'll now show you a small interview where Aishwarya Rai is asked a question in the world platform. How many languages can you speak? And now she would be answering the question, how many languages can you speak? Here we go.
Indian languages, in Hindi. In Hindi, that's the national language, yeah.
And how many languages do you speak?
Well, I can speak about 4 languages.
What are those?
And Indian? I do understand, yeah.
Okay, tell me the 4 languages.
Hindi, Marathi, my mother tongue Tulu, and broken Tamil as well.
Wow. It's just crazy because here in the United States, we speak English.
Yeah, so...
And you...
In the entire conversation, if you have heard about it, she missed saying English. And it was a very big interview. The second part she did wonderfully well, but this would remain. So what happens on the world platform would remain for a very long period of time, as well as even in our circles. When these things happen, Maybe we are fine learning, unlearning, but how do you go further matters the most. Another one on overconfidence. Here we go. So you understand, overconfidence, it really matters the most, and that is where we need to be a little careful about. Education is vital, but when we are having learning, there are sometimes learning disabilities being found, and with the present generation, it is there. Learning, the way in which they start speaking, it is found after COVID, who are born, babies who are born, many are finding this speaking disability. There are so many things that are moving on with disabilities, but if you put in constant effort, you need to improve, and you can improve. Only one thing that we need to understand is this: learning disability is what they have, it is not who they are. Learning disability is what I have, it is not who I am. It is just one part of me. And please don't ignore me, is what the present generation says when it is learning and unlearning, relearning. When we are speaking about the learning pedagogy, we are having so many types which are being used. And here we are having active learning, technology, collaborative, reflective. We also have various ways in which there is innovative teaching learning happening. Gamification is there, blended learning is there, problem based is there, and then you are having mnemonics. What is this mnemonics? There will give one learning that I will give you. You have gone through this. How do you remember all the solar system, all the planets? Your teacher had told. My very educated mother just served us noodles, and Mercury to Neptune, everything was being written very easily. How do you teach? Maybe like this: King Henry died magnificently drinking chocolate milk. You remember from kilometer to millimeter. You start from millimeter, go till kilometer. This is where you are having 5H1, 5W1H, 5 wives, 1 husband. You remember all these things until you innovate, you cannot go higher. And if you are still getting very bored, please learn to rest. Do not quit the learning process. This is something that I've put for you as to what you can move into the learning. And here, if you can read, it would be nice. According to Cambridge, research at Cambridge University, doesn't matter in what order the letters in the word are. Only important thing is that the first and the last letter be at the right place. The rest can be a total mess, and you can still read it without problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. This is where a learning is. It's easy. But if you can put a spelling mistake, it's a problem. Let me give you a small demonstration. One spelling mistake can destroy your life. A husband sent this to his wife: I'm having a wonderful time. Wish you were her. Wish you were here. One E is missing, and things are not the same. We are into learning, unlearning. Let me show you one very interesting method of folding a t-shirt, because it is learning. You have a traditional method, there is an unlearning, and this is relearning. Here we go.
次に左手でつまんだところから延長した肩と裾のところを右手でつまみます。あとは払って袖のところか から折り込むようにして畳めば、そうです、こんなに綺麗にできます。
So unlearning,
真ん中
relearning,
の上
here
から
we
4
go.
分の1のところを左手でつまみます。次に左手でつまんだところから延長した肩と裾のところを右手でつまみます。
One straight line, two
払って
hands,
袖の
that's
と
it.
ころから折り込むようにして畳めば、そうです、こんなに綺麗にできます。
Learning is interesting, learning is fun. New words that I have caught a little bit of my attention. I'm giving you only one or two. Mac refugees, if you have heard, this is a phrase which is very popular. Refugee, you know, this is Mac refugees. Who are these people? When they don't find a place to stay, particularly in certain new places, new countries where they go, McDonald's has opened their doors 24 hours. It is always open. And these people go and stay overnight in that particular place. They eat there and they sleep there. It is allowed. Mac refugees. It is a neologism. It's a new word. And there are certain new words to learn, which we like. And maybe our minds get ignited when we hear these new words. Out of all the new words, our kids are using this, you're also using it, screen time. It's a new word, but it is so nicely used by this time. You're having the Gen Z, having their slangs, and you are knowing most of them. My fam, I'm happy that we are here, always together.
Good luck.
I would now give you one situation, and if this situation happens to us, how would we react? It's a very big world platform, Miss Universe. 10 years ago, let's see what happened. Here we go.
Good luck to both of you. Miss Universe 2015 is Colombia.
They are celebrating Colombia, celebrating, and amidst of all this celebration, what happens is very, very breathtaking. Let's see this now.
Okay, folks. I have to apologize. The first runner-up is Colombia. Miss Universe 2015 is Philippines. Miss Philippines, take your first walk as Miss Universe.
This is Steve Harvey there. And if you were in that position, how would you face the world? This is a very interesting situation, a very different situation, but this is how things happen over a period of time. I have lots to share, but there is a time limitation. Let me come to the end of it. We are having motivation on two types: intrinsic, extrinsic. Intrinsic, we put it from our end; extrinsic, somebody else pushes us. This is a yogasana and it takes years and years of practice to do this asana. Only with intrinsic, it is possible. Now, I present to you the same yogasana, but with extrinsic motivation. There are so many answers and analysis, but both could be effective, but only intrinsic motivation is more beneficial, and that would promote learning. Learning is what we are speaking on, but without an intrinsic motivation, learning would never happen. So, dear educators, the greatest innovator is you. And anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80, and anyone who keeps learning stays young. To teach is to learn twice. That is what we said, maximum level of learning. Educators should guide without dictating, participate without dominating, because learning never ends. Two magic words, please and thank you, would open any and every door. And having that smile would lead to best things in life. Let's keep this in our heart: peace, faith, love, and hope. And as both of you all said, when you started, Zakaria sir, as well as Brian sir, you have reiterated this point that the 21st century belongs not to other people, but if anybody cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, they cannot fit into the present generation. Taking this, if there are any queries, I would love to take up these queries.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Preeti. Yes, we have learned a lot. We have unlearned a lot, and it's now time to relearn a lot. And if there are any questions for you to learn from the answers, this is the time for it. If there are questions, please either in the chat box or raise a hand or something like that, and we can go ahead. Or unmute yourself and please ask the question. Don't tell me the learning was so thorough that you don't have questions.
Yes, Dr. Preeti D'Souza.
Sorry, Anthony. Yes, I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, our organization's name is Indian Society for Training and Development. And for this organization, I think the most important subject is today's subject. You have selected the best subject, learn, unlearn, and relearn. I think your performance was excellent, really enjoyed. And I think for all chapters, at least once in a year, they should analyze, they should hear, they should present at least once in a year, this particular subject for all branches. Wish you all the best. Thank you. Please keep it up. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that compliment was for you, Dr. Preeti. Anybody else for a question? I have a small question, Dr. Preeti. You
Yes,
showed
right,
one.
sir.
You showed one video of folding a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm used to wearing a tie, and I knot the tie in a particular way. I've learnt it in my adolescence, and then I continue to do it even today. But the other day I was looking at YouTube and they showed me some other way of doing it. I tried doing it, but I couldn't. I think because my mind is totally, stuck in the way that I'm so used to my muscle memory, like we put the gears in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have any solution for that?
Sir, it is even with many of us, because our mind first tells it's not possible by me. The minute our mind says it's not possible by me, we take it that way. And if there is any help that is available very close to us, then we definitely will not try. If there is no other go, you have to go through that process. You will also learn it, and you will do it today.
So I think I think it's a question of the comfort zone.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Any other questions?
Madam, I have a question. Madam, I
Yes.
have a question. I'm
Yes,
Harish
sir.
here.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Is this learning, unlearning, and relearning, is it always connected, or it can be three different things also?
Sir, they were three different parts. Since I teach learning as one of the subject, there were three different parts. But until when new things come, new information come, if you don't delete the old one, if unlearning doesn't take place, then you cannot learn again. That is relearning. It is three different levels. Learning by itself has an identity, but why do you learn? How much can you learn? Lifelong, that is learning. Thorough learning, there are many concepts. So that is why an addition has come over a period of time, where these three things could be put as a system. One leads to the other, next leads to the other. So learning by itself has an individuality. Unlearning happens only when you are taking out the learning that is there, and relearning would come when you are willing to give up and learn something new. But learning by itself has an identity.
Ma'am, I have a question for the interest of the audience.
Yes, Zakaria, sir.
That is, when it comes to behavior patterns, how can we use the concept of unlearning and relearning? For example, somebody is highly short-tempered, which he or she has acquired over the years. Now he or she realizes that this is something bad, I need to change and I need to learn a new behavior. How one should do that?
Sir, behavior would always is associated with reinforcement. Reinforcement, whether it is positive or negative. Positive, if I behave like this, there is a reward. The other way, if I behave like this, there is no punishment. That is also a reinforcement. So there is positive and negative. So if anybody is very short-tempered and you're moving on to unlearning, the person can understand the situations which have gone out of the person's hand because of the way he behaved. If that is to be analyzed, that moves on to the unlearning part, saying that if I behave like this, it is not the right one, it is having its own disadvantages. Unlearning takes place. And if the person is willing to change, relearning definitely comes even with the behavioral pattern.
Nice.
Yes.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's, you know, the Dr. Zakaria, I'll just give you a small example. If you, as you advance in your age and you are used to like eating chocolates after lunch or dinner and so on and so forth, and suddenly you feel, you know, not too well, and then you go to the doctor. The doctor says from tomorrow onwards, you have to stop eating chocolates. Now, the next day comes, and then when you start to think about a chocolate, you realize that you'll have this consequence. Then the fear of the benefit or the fear of the consequence, the hope of the benefit or the fear of the consequence will kick in. So either way, if you are fearing the consequences of eating chocolates more than the hope of the benefit of the sweet taste, that will change your behavior. Just to give you an example.
Very true.
I have a question. I'm Deepu as principal as My question
Yes,
is that,
sir.
The question is that, as you are talking about learning, unlearning, relearning, etc., you also mentioned overconfidence. So what I'm saying is that, could it be a function of the Dunning-Kruger effect usually? By Dunning-Kruger effect, what I mean is that, if I am a budding researcher, starting researcher. I have peripheral knowledge. I have many concepts. I'll be overconfident. It's likely that I will be very overconfident at that stage. But in the case I'm an expert researcher, I know what how much I don't know. Then I will be there will be reverse Dunning-Kruger effect, and I will be very apprehensive to say something with certainty. And you are always doubtful. So what I mean to say is that if the learning was correct in the first place, you need not need to learn as much unlearn and relearn. What's my suggestion? My opinion. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, sir. Thanks for the opinion. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? If there isn't, we are reaching the end of time. 1
Yeah.
hour is what we were told. If there's nobody else, anybody else for a question? I guess.
Good evening. I would
Yeah.
like to ask this question, how
Yes.
to break the rigidity in learning, especially at later ages. For example, it's very difficult to learn a new language after 50, or a new technique or new technology, AI nowadays. So can Madam help us in breaking the rigidity in learning? Or
Definitely, ma'am. This is what even I experience, everyone experiences. By the age of 5, languages are learned. All the kids, at least 3, 4 languages, by the age of 5. But
yes,
whatever you do later on is an addition. But please note, there are so many cases where people, out of interest, second, reinforcement, as what I said, what is that you are going to get by doing so? If the reward that is there, either intrinsic or extrinsic, is very much needed by you, Deepa ma'am, will always even learn a new language even now. What is that you want from it? Ultimately, if it is really needed, really, I know, as per the thing, even when it is 50, AI will be our game. If you can see the present advertisements always on social media, you're reaching 40, AI is a tool for you. That means they know learning there is tough, and they are having better audiences joining there in their core team. It is not an impossibility, but yes, it is a little difficult. Learning is slow, and mostly, if it is purposeful, then only we will learn. That is the difference between adult learners and young learners. Young learners do not question, they just move into the process. Adult learners question, what will I get? Whether it is really needed. Is it worth my time and effort? Only when the answers are positive, you move into the learning scenario a little slower than the youngsters, but it is possible.
I just
thank you,
want to
ma'am.
add to that. I think Dr. Preeti also knows uh, Miss Bharati Shevgur. She was 50 plus when she started her PhD, and she completed it. And that is a remarkable achievement to do your PhD at that age, and take the interest and learn new things and then put it all together. So there's no age gap, there's nothing that is going to stop you from learning. But one thing that Dr. Preeti mentioned during her presentation is that you have to unlearn, you have to empty the cup first before you can fill it up. So I think that is a more important part of it. As you grow older, the cup is already full. So if you don't pour it out into the sink and then fill it up, there's no place for nothing, for anything new. That is the problem actually. So I think if we empty the cup, we can fill it up.
Yeah. I think there are no more questions, so that we can conclude the session. Brian sir, is it?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Yes, I would personally. I would like to thank Dr. Preeti on behalf of the Mangalore chapter for educating us with a very insightful session. I would like to thank the participants for so many of you coming and joining us on this session, and especially Dr. Zakaria for giving us, the regional vice president for the South of ISTD, for giving us this opportunity, the Mangalore chapter, to host and do this session for you. Thank you very much. Doctor, over to you.
Thank
Doctor.
you. Thank you, Brian sir, for moderating this session. Actually, every edition we try to connect with one of the chapters in South region. And this time we thought of connecting with Mangalore Udupi chapter, and Brian sir gracefully accepted that. And he only connected with Dr. Preeti D'Souza. So I thank both of you for making this evening meaningful. And we had an impactful learning. Very simply, Dr. Preeti explained the concepts of learning, unlearning, and relearning. We learned a lot how to unlearn and relearn, actually, because that Eiffel Tower example very simply communicated how to learn and how to unlearn. Right, it was very fantastic. And I thank all other participants who made this evening webinar a success. So once again, I thank everyone and looking forward to have another meaningful session next month. Requesting everyone to join back next month. And once again, I thank Preeti ma'am for taking your time and joining us. And Brian sir, communicate our thanks to the entire ISTD Mangalore Udupi chapter.
Yes, definitely, yes.
I would like to say thanks to each one of you, particularly the ISTT fraternity, everyone for giving your time, and particularly to Brian sir, and no highest regards to you, Zakaria sir, for giving this opportunity. Always grateful. Thank you for the connect.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have Mr. Gurvinder behind the screen giving all technical support to run the show. Thank you, Gurvinder, for being there.
Thank you, Gurvinder.